Details from last night's town council meeting on this episode of Barnstable Today. It's Friday, July 18th, 2014. I'm Sarah Mannel. The Human Services Committee is looking for ways to reduce teen drug abuse and connect residents with services. Committee Chair Scott Fitzgerald presented a list of suggestions they hope the council will adopt during last night's meeting.
One of the first things that was raised as we had family members, youth, and members of human service agencies coming in before the committee was that parents and community members were extremely confused and frustrated with finding resources out there. When dealing with family members who were dealing with issues of addiction, they were finding it difficult to know where to go to obtain the treatment or the assistance that they needed. And one of the things that we heard over and over is, you can go through the yellow pages and make calls all over the place, but there's not a one-stop shopping, or one-stop resource center, for a lack of a better term, where someone can just kind of, can log on to their computer and go and see all of the resources in the area available to them. So our first recommendation is developing a one-stop electronic resource center. And this will be something that the committee will be continuing to work on, and we're hoping to get the council's endorsement on that, because the ultimate hope would be either through the Human Services Committee subsite off of the Town of Barnstable's page that we would be able to establish some electronic links to this online resource center, so folks could, if they had questions as to where services might be available or where specialized services might be available, they would be able to access that information. One of the things that was clearly identified in talking with parents and even with the youth is, especially when you're dealing with youth who are struggling with addiction, there are not as many resources located on the Cape as there are for adults with addiction. So oftentimes folks were forced to travel off of the Cape to seek treatment for their children who are struggling with addiction.
Fitzgerald also recommended the town sponsor a forum to discuss youth drug abuse prevention and to expand the Youth Commission.
Clearly, one of the things that is extremely evident if you open the paper or you turn on the news is that the issues of addiction, specifically as it pertains to youth, it's all over there, and it really is impactful with the young people in the community. The Youth Commission provides a wonderful opportunity for youth to become empowered and get involved and really become part of the solution, not only specifically as it pertains to this issue, but to other issues within the town of Barnstable. So being able to to expand the base of that Youth Commission, including folks from all over Barnstable geographically, I think would be very, very beneficial.
Fitzgerald also encouraged the council to support the YMCA Achievers Program at the Hyannis Youth and Community Center.
I'm a product of the Y. I attended Y day camps, after school programs. It was a great thing for me. But I was also very fortunate because at a very young age I was given an opportunity to run an outreach center for troubled teenagers at the YMCA in Springfield. And these were kids who were gang involved and drug involved, and were dodging bullets left and right. And the YMCA in the Springfield area began with a very small program and a very small concept, which was a drop-in program for youth to be able to come in and utilize the facilities and get off the streets. It was unbelievably successful, but that was just the launching point. And the YMCA then expanded and continued to expand and engage youth in a number of different programs, such as the Achievers program, such as the YMCA Leaders Club. And the YMCA, in my experience, is an organization which really puts the community that it is based first. It really lives by its mission, and it's just extremely genuine in the services that it provides to the community in which it is located. And, you know, I can sit here very confidently and tell you if it were not for YMCA programs, there would be more kids than I can count in graves right now. And it is only because of these programs today that there are young men and women in their 20s and 30s that are teachers, are attorneys, are police officers, and some of which are running programs at other YMCAs in the country. And as I said, the folks that are here from the Y will get in much more depth with regards to the Achievers program specifically, but I personally feel extremely strongly that this is a very, very unique opportunity for the town and for the YMCA to partner in beginning this process of engaging the youth in this community. And the sky's the limit as far as this one goes.
Following Fitzgerald's presentation, Stacy Pugh, President and CEO of the Cape Cod YMCA, talked more about the Achievers program.
You know, really the goal is to help minority underserved teens set and pursue high educational and career goals that end up resulting in high school graduation, then acceptance into a higher institution of learning, and then successfully choosing and starting a career of their choosing. A lot of this is associated with involving the business community and leaders in the community who are minorities who have been successful and have that story to share. The objectives of the program is to raise academic standards of youth, assist those youth in gaining acceptance into institutions of higher learning, exposing them to diverse career opportunities, providing the adult role models, helping them to develop that positive sense of self, building character, which is the foundation of the YMCA, and developing those positive assets, and then creating channels for continuing community involvement for the teens that are involved in the program. It is career development, academic achievement, and college readiness that is specifically targeting minority teens and underserved low-income populations.
Pugh says there are about 120 communities nationwide participating in the program across 32 states. Town Council approves a 25-year lease for the vacant Armory building. The building will house a pirate museum. Attorney David Lawler urged the council to support the plan before the vote.
Another component to this building that I'm sure everybody out there is aware of is that this is the site where John F. Kennedy gave his speech, his acceptance speech, in 1960 after being elected. And that's when I talked about the historic significance of this particular building. And one of the things that has always been sacred with respect to the negotiations is that is memorialized. You'll see here is the entrance, and that area right there is the Kennedy Room. And we are going to be working with the town and the appropriate individuals and interest holders. And in particular, I think I'm going to be working, and Chad will be working with Tom Lynch. I know he has a tremendous affinity for the history of the Kennedys and what they've done for this town. And we've talked about it. And I know that from the very beginning, it's been a very critical issue to him as to how we can respectfully treat that particular part of the building's history. With respect to the building, essentially the outside is going to remain the same. It'll be touched up here. We're going to invest several $1 million into the infrastructure inside the building and mechanicals, fix up some of the windows, some of the pointing on the building, and restore the building to where it should be. With respect to the actual use of the building here, I'll let Chad talk about that in a second. But the real critical component is that this is going to create jobs. It's going to create traffic flow for businesses. I know that I have the privilege of sitting on the Hyannis Business Improvement District. I know everybody involved in that is very excited about this.
After much discussion and consideration, the council ultimately voted unanimously to approve the lease. Town Council also approved 3 grants. Councilors voted to accept 6 beach wheelchairs from Smile Mass, $5,000 to fund transportation services at the Senior Center, and a grant from the Mass Preservation Projects Fund for repairs to the U.S. Custom House. Well, be sure to tune in to our hour-long news program, Barnstable This Morning, weekdays at 7 a.m. On Monday's show, we will chat with Town Manager Tom Lynch, Superintendent of Schools Dr. Mary Schakowsky, and we'll have all the news and information you need. For Barnstable Today, I'm Sarah Mannel.